24-hour on Friday or today.
What is wrong with you?
What do you mean, what's wrong with me?
All I said is like, you can do it. I don't care. And then you say that that's passive aggressive.
Dude,
and then I'm like, if I
dude,
say
I'm not a
then just
fucking
do it.
retard. Like, I know how people speak and like, look, we're not doing this. You're not coming on here and doing this. This isn't fucking cafe. I've already said very abundantly clear. You guys got plans. That's fine. I will fucking do 24 hours.
Okay, but there's no reason for you to act like that towards
No, it's
me.
not acting like that. So, Beans, you know the way you said that. Like, don't.
You're going to
We're
read
not-
something in your own way and then interpret it in your own
I'm
way.
the only one that thought of it that way when everyone else is going like, oh, damn, okay. I'm the only one who read it that way, of course. Yeah, I'm the only one who read it that way.
And then I say something else, and then you literally put me in timeout for 24
Yes,
hours.
because I'm not dealing with you calling me passive aggressive, but I'm literally being direct for what I'm saying. I'm looking for an
You're
alternate
direct by
motive.
saying you're-
No, I'm looking for an
Okay.
alternate motive that doesn't involve you being pissed. So I was like, well, no, I'll do it. That's fine. You can't say that only I've read it a certain way when literally everyone else in the chat agrees. You can't. I'm sorry, but you absolutely can't look at it that way.
I mean, you can look at it that way, but it's
Fuck's
the
sake,
same thing.
let's go.
I've said that damn thing before. God damn.
Voltage, I'm
Graham,
not even drunk.
smile.
I'm literally sober.
Drive me nuts. Come on.
I love you, Graham. I love Beans too. But like, I'm not fucking having that in the chat, dude. I'm not, okay? I've had enough of fucking dealing with people's drama today.
If she's saying it's not passive aggressive, why would you not take it at face value?
Because again, like I've read it the way that's initiated. Like, don't, man, don't. There's no, like,
No. I'm just asking. Engage with me, please.
What-
Like, all I'm saying
what
is,
am I engaging
if
with
you
you?
read something, no, hold up. If I type something to you, right, like on text, and you took it a different way, and then I come back to you afterwards verbally, and I'm like, hey, I did not mean it that way. That's my bad. You know, I know she didn't like full blown like apologize and get on her knees and all this other shit, but she is saying that she didn't make it seem that way. Look, can we at least like agree on that? Like she's come back and be like, look, I didn't mean to be passive aggressive. That No.
dude, I read it the way I read it. So did other people. And then she calls me passive aggressive. And all I'm saying is like, nah, I'm not having that. No.
She's not calling you passive
She did call me
aggressive. She's
passive
saying
aggressive.
no. She said, bruh, everything is passive aggressive to
Oh, well,
you,
fine,
as
whatever.
if you understand
That was a
things as
fucking
passive
slight
aggressive.
anyway. Like, let's be fucking real. I'm doing this all the fucking time, man, because I want to pitch fucking ideas for us to do content to expand.
I'm cool
the
with it. I'm with it. We just there's just things you have to work around, and that's the reality of like business.
What's the other word? It's a fucking weekend, dude. I'm sorry. I love you guys, but also like this, in terms of its growth, much more fucking important. Much more important at the moment. Real life, there's so much fucking time to do shit.
Much more important than my act.
No, you're not listening to what I'm saying. In terms of one weekend, just one weekend, absolutely. This is a time for us to do something fucking cool that we don't get to do very often. It's like
I was in the voice
Yeah,
chat
go for
before.
it.
She honestly didn't have a problem with y'all doing the 24-hour stream. She was that, yeah, she didn't have a problem with y'all doing it. She was in the voice chat. She was in the rewind chat with us. Just to let you know, and she didn't have a problem with it.
See, it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good,
Then
guys.
we'll do it.
All right.
as I said, I'm gonna do it.
Within that first clip, you saw sort of an inkling of what's to become for the rest of the day for Beans, right? A sort of sense of L after L after L. And though I'm very, very critical of the lolcowlive universe and everything they stand for and all that, at the same time, I think there's a sort of a lesson to learn when you're joining a community this massive and they give you an opportunity to show what you can do. Whether it's just to cut your losses or take it into what the other saying, take it at the chin or something. With this particular clip with her Nightmare duking it out and the passive aggressiveness, it's like I could kind of see it, but also the way Nightmare is acting isn't any better. On one hand, I don't know what their relationship is behind the scene. I don't know what the hosts are like most of the time. I just don't simply know. And so I'm only going off of what I'm able to see with my own eyes and hear with my own ears, right? And in a way that limits me, but it gives me the opportunity to flex my brain and just sort of theory craft. If this is how Nightmare is kind of talking towards being, I think it's grim. I would have just completely snapped that on him and just called him out and be like, no. And I understand, at least, on Grim's side, that in a lot of relationships, you do one way or another, and I know some may say it's toxic or is it at too much, and every relationship is different for any amount of reason. And it usually depends on the particular partner, right? And that's always something to put, in your head. Every partner is different every single time. It's like driving a car. Not every car drives the same, right? It's like you drive a truck and then you decide to drive a sedan. They're two very different beasts. Every relationship is very similar. And though, and I know I'm sort of derailing, well, not really derailing, but we're starting off this, video a little different, only to slowly get ourselves into it. I think a part of me just wanted to cover this because I don't really cover tests that often. It's not a show that I really watch because how late it is at night, as well that there's not a lot that goes on unless it's just very clear, right? I've seen some of the shows here and there, and not saying they're bad particularly. It's just it's so late that I can't watch them, and that's not really their own fault, right? But enough of me, I guess, derailing the conversation and back to back to what we were talking and really getting into the main topic of this big bean special video. I will probably come up with a bit of an asshole, very critical minded. And that's just who I am at heart, especially when we're dealing with individuals that I don't know personally. And I'm only gaining information based on what I am hearing and watching, right? I'm using two forms of senses to get what I'm trying to see and hear. And from what I can hear from this, the attitude that Nightmare brings, if I would have been Beans, I would have just went on him and called him out. And, maybe it's grim, you want to keep the peace, and that's perfectly fine. But there's a point where you say, yeah, I can see where my girl's coming, and I shouldn't let Nightmare do this. But then again, I don't know what goes on in their relationship. I really don't.
No, of course we do.
Right?
I live with my woman, and we have fucking we used to spend most of our time together, and I've had to put that on hold because I have to plan for future fucking events that we're gonna do to make sure they fucking work, right? That's the fucking difference. So I've had to put all my shit in hold because I want things to fucking grow. I don't understand why you can't put fucking one weekend away without being like, oh, I gotta speak to this person about it first. There we go. There's my response to it. If you want me to be very bluntly honest about it.
No,
One
I'm okay with that.
weekend as opposed to
I
me
prefer
literally
that.
seeing my woman for probably half an hour a fucking week at the moment. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That is a little bit of bullshit, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So here's what I'm gonna say. I don't want to compare our relationships because it's nothing like that. But I want to spend time with her, and that's the only time I ever get to spend time with her. We've already discussed with her because she hopped on and Xylee hopped on, that she's okay with it. I'm okay with it as well. I wanted to make sure that I was running it by my significant other, that she's perfectly fine with a weekend being essentially taken away from her, because that's really what it is, and it's taken away from me as well. I was on board as long as there's like something that goes along with it, right? Like an incentive of some sort. But now I'm going to double down and say we don't even need to do the goal. We'll just do it. I'm fine with it because I need to show to you, I guess, that
Final, fuck off, dude. You don't understand what I do for my fucking woman, all right? I'm putting this forward because I want a better fucking life for us. Final, do us a favor, mate. Actually fucking grim yourself, brother. Don't fucking tell me how I treat my fucking woman. Me and my woman have a fucking phenomenal relationship.
Yeah,
she's
totally
super
different
fucking...
dynamic, dude.
Let me fucking
that.
speak. We have a fucking
crazy.
phenomenal relationship. We look after each other. She's been very fucking supportive,
Exactly.
which is why she's put up with my shit and my absence in terms of working on this stuff. So do us a favor, Final, just because you can't get a fucking show in Nerds because you have the fucking personality of a fucking rusty tooth.
You can really tell just by Nightmare general reaction, or really lack of reaction, and just his body type, and not his body type, but his body language, that he's just not having it. And you can tell that this isn't the first time where they've done this, they've talked about it, and so on. Like, just by the way he is, the way he's acting, that mannerism is one of, man, we've been through this how many times? Why you gotta go to your girlfriend? And as I said before, every relationship is different. We don't know what goes behind the scenes. We don't know what is being said or done. And you can just, again, tell by Nightmare's just reaction of sort of, man, is this man a pussy whip or not? It's just how I feel, right? I've seen this type of body language a number of times. And that's what it kind of gives me. Again, it's very childlike. And so because of that, again, I know I'm looping, but it feels like they've gone through that, and like Nightmare is refusing to just take it as it is. And I understand that, when you're building something from the ground up, there are some sacrifices. But at what price are you willing to give it all up? Are you willing to give up a potential future and success for the girl you love? Or are you willing to give up the girl you love? Well, you know what I mean. I kind of felt like I said the same thing, just said it very differently. And I'm not one to really figure that one or answer that question. I can give points and opinions and maybe some experience or like examples, but we are already spending more time than we need to in this part. And I do apologize for anybody who stuck around for the beginning. Good thing I have chapters in these videos. So if you skipped this, I do apologize. I felt like I needed to just get this out of the way. Because again, I don't really cover tests a lot. And I just wanted to kind of bring this up. Because it's something that clearly isn't the first time this happened between Grim, Nightmare, and Beans.
Everybody resetting the clock multiple times. I'm just like, what is happening? But going back to
I don't know anymore.
I don't know anymore. And I'm just like, okay, what's happening now? Somebody give me the TDLR because I can't. But yeah, one of the most like highlighted messages that I want to voice out to people, which I barely could because Boogie, what he does is he'll just yell over you. And yesterday I had a talk with Xylee. And she said, hey, I know what your fighting style is. The ring kind of like scares me every time. She's like, I know what your fighting style is. And I'm like, no, my fighting style is not to scream over people all the time. That's not how I am. But since I've been in the LCU, I've noticed that people see me. They see cute little Beans with the glitter on her face and doing makeup and she's so tiny and petite. People think that they can just, people think that they could just scream over me all the time and that's making a point and that because I'm so small, I'm just going to back down and take everything. No, I'm going to voice my opinion. And if you're not going to let me, I'm just going to keep talking. And that's the thing, because in the internet, people can see weakness. And if I back down at any moment, weakness. And then people are just going to come at me more. The thing is, they don't know that I like the freaking pain, okay? I like when people yell at me, scream at me. You can ask Grim. I was in the car with the phone and I was like yelling, but at the same time I had a smile on my face because I was like, this is fun. This is like what the LCU wanted. And then
yes,
Keemstar himself, he you see it in the clip, he smiles for a second and then he got aggravated and then he went from smile to grabbing the mic, getting super close, screaming into the mic, turning full Rastoff red. It was awesome. Yeah. That's a very clippable
That was amazing.
I was like, God damn, if anybody could make him freaking... Oh, I keep almost playing the song again. But if anybody could make Keemstar crash out like that, I'm glad that it was me.
Yeah.
And I'm glad
I'm proud of you.
I'm glad he got all that emotion out before Becky came in and like the more serious stuff started going on. Because my shit is
Jesus
nothing.
Christ.
My shit is nothing compared to that shit. I was like, okay, well, he can deal with that shit a little bit more calmly than this. But going back to the text I really want to drive home is whenever I said I don't think you grasped that you told us on the 5th of April how we were doing for this month before it even started, which was right after I was like going ring shopping with Grim. Told us you moved our time on the 16th, told us that you would pull me off on the 19th. Now I would add context because he did make a really good point yesterday. Whenever he came to us and he's like, hey, I was thinking about moving Beans to a different show. He didn't tell us like what type of show or who we were going to be with, because that's something that he mentioned during live. He said, well, I was going to put Beans on a show with Brantley. And obviously, if you say that, Brantley's a big personality and I love Brantley.
Same.
Exactly. People are going to be like, Beans and Brantley show? Like, that's way better than Cafe. She's fucking stupid to not take that. And it's like, he never told us who we would be with or what type of show. And the other thing is, I said yes. I said, hell yeah, if we need to make changes, I'm completely fine doing that. Because this is what the show and the company is about. Changes, and if it doesn't work out, then blah, blah, blah. So that is the context of that. And then I said, since the 19th, we have been changing stuff and doing more and having more energy, which is true. In the past 5 days, because, well, now it's going to be 6. 6 days, Ken changed, I changed, content changed. Yesterday's content of just talking about real life lolcows, Chris Chan, freaking Cyrax, everything else was freaking awesome. Because people are like, oh, I didn't know that about this person. Or, oh, like, I didn't know this person was here. And that was a good thing.
Yeah, that shit's juicy.
Hella juicy. Let me go back. Tan was talking about the situation with Mike. Thaw with the $5. You guys missed the point. The business model is to churn and burn, get as much money as possible, fast as possible. Once used, throw the host away. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's exactly true. Because if Keemstar wanted to throw us away, then he would just completely cut ties. And if you remember the whole nerd situation with Glammy, Pharaoh, Eric, they're still around in the LCU, especially Glammy.
Yeah.
Glammy was given so many chances. She's on gaming now. She fixed her OBS situation. She's been doing pretty awesome. She's been interacting with other people. So in general, if he wanted to truly cut ties, he would have just cut ties. He would have gotten rid of these people, kicked them out of the server, no host role whatsoever, no staff role whatsoever. So I think that Keemstar does believe in the people that he brings on. He just needs to figure out where they belong.
This is true. Yeah, everybody needs to find like what suits them best. You know what I mean? Like where their home is in the universe.
Exactly. And even if we're not hosts anymore,
So basically, Beans, I almost called her Wings, but Bean is basically sort of, how can I say, giving her a TLDR to Batgirl and sort of just retelling of the event from the day prior, right? And when I think about those set of events, it sort of reminds me, and really the lolcowlive universe really gives me debate bro vibes, where it really isn't about coming up with good points. It's not really about making any type of like structured sentence or arguments or anything about that. It's more about who can yell the most, who can curse out the most, right? Who can bring up past events at each other. It's not about making points or anything else. And I really feel like if Beans was part of a different group of shows, I think she would have succeeded a lot more. And yeah, you can say that Cafe has been bringing in the energy, but it's a little too late, right? It's one of those moments where if you would have done this a lot earlier, right? And I understand that shows take time to develop. It takes a while for hosts to kind of get used to each other. That's perfectly fine. But when you're part of a group of people, especially when you're working with Keemstar, the expectations are a lot higher than most, right? And you have to sort of bring it in. You gotta bring in your A game. You can't just be like lax and relax and whatever. You gotta be like full on bull mode. You know what I mean. Goblin mode, essentially. You gotta bring in that energy. Curse some people out. It isn't like Rastov, where I feel like someone like Rastov is capable of bringing that kind of energy if he wants to. But at the same time, because the way he is in his interaction with his audience, he doesn't really have to. And I'm bringing in Rastov because they did mention Rastov, or not really mention, but Rastov was part of that whole group, right? That whole thing. And so when I look at the difference between, let's say, Cafe and Rastov, it really just shows that, yes, Rastov is more relaxed and calm, but because he is so interactive with his audience, is different. And Ozzy, given that it has a longer format, I think in a way it works in his favor for now. And, yes, the way Keemstar acts is sort of very diabolical. Now, I'm not sure if I had this clip or not, but apparently Keemstar sort of offered, or I'm not sure the word offer. I could be misremembering this event because they did bring it up, during the lolcowlive stuff. They essentially brought up, Brantley, and like I believe Zay later on in the video does bring this up, right? And truthfully, I don't really think Brantley is that talented at all, but that's just an opinion. Like we have to actually see what he's like on a proper show, right? Or maybe I'm just a crazy one.
that's like going somewhere that it's like a low quality steak, and here comes Boogie. Everybody hates on him.
Hey,
Now. I'll
Boogie.
to his face.
Yeah,
Nice.
come on, come on.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is
I
different.
just wanted to see how the new rebooted cafe is looking today.
I like your background.
Thanks. Yeah, hold on a sec. Just give me a little. This is
I hope you have some coffee.
No, this is well, I warmed up some Mountain Dew. I boiled it.
That's
It's
so
really bad.
disgusting.
Are you sure that's not boiled piss?
It kind of tastes like it after it's boiled. Don't boil this shit. It's bad. I did want to just come in and congratulate you. I was looking at the numbers. Keem texted me some numbers. 28 new members. Does that sound about right?
Something like that, yeah.
And almost $200. Is that correct?
Well, I don't like talking money because it's in the NDA.
Wow. Wow. So this is your victory lap.
But
Well, that's public and real government.
319.
Wow, that's almost a real show. Congratulations. Riding off the back of my name. By the way, where the fuck is Ken? Does he just not show up on Fridays? Or is
He
he
does
like
not show up on
protesting? I don't know.
Fridays. Yeah, he does not show
Oh,
up on
cool.
Fridays
So you
because he's with
that's
his
fair.
mom.
That's fair. Okay. I feel like he should be here on your last chance show, but okay. Last chance show going real well. Almost as many members as we got yesterday without trying, and also almost as much money as we got during the stream that Keem fucked it up and accidentally canceled it 20 minutes in. Yeah, let's go! Woo! I'm so proud of you guys for your abject fucking failure of a goddamn program. What
You
the
know what's
fuck
a
is
failure?
happening on your shit show of a fucking website? Hold on, let me change my background. I got it. Sorry, the Matrix isn't working for me. Let me get something a little more accurate, a little bit more accurate to what we're doing here?
Is it a picture of your ass?
You wish you
God, I
could
hope
see
so.
an ass this good. You wish you could see this ass. Only Desi
Come on,
gets to see
Boogie
that bitch.
Grundle, full screen.
Only
4K,
Desi
come on.
gets to see that. Oh my god. Here you go.
So you
Just
want to talk about failure? You guys had such a low goal for
look at that.
memberships.
Yeah, we
For
did. You know what? And we
memberships,
shouldn't have
local-
even bothered. We
You
shouldn't have even
bothered
bothered.
because
Nobody
you
likes to
didn't meet
interact
the
with your
goal.
show in
You
any
guys
way.
are lolcow
Those
live and
people
you
are
couldn't even
saving their
make
money.
300.
Those
Do you
people
know
are
how much
saving their
milkers
money
make?
for
Do you
this
know
show,
how
right?
Queens
All
make? And
12
you
of
didn't
them.
make jack
All
fucking
12 of them
shit.
showed up
Oh
to give
my
you money
goodness.
today. You know what? People can gift like 50 subs in a pop. They don't give a fuck about your show because they didn't do it. They weren't saving your money. They were
Thank
saving
you
their
so
money
much
to
for
save
the
your
one
show.
lolcow
They just
membership.
didn't care. They just didn't
Shala,
care.
welcome to
They
Band World.
just
Thank you
don't
so much.
care, right? The only person that cares about the show is unfortunately you.
Yeah,
And you don't even care. You don't even buy your own coffee. You don't even buy your own
I
shit.
literally
You
showed.
did. Oh, you did after I bullied you for it. You did. Oh, like we don't all get a free hat. Like we don't all get a free piece of merch. when
we
sell
don't
a piece
get
of
free
merch.
shit. We don't get free nothing.
Well, that probably says something about Baja Wolf and his respect for you, huh? If I get my
Baja
shit-
Wolf, the moment that he was going
Still
to
buy
send
it.
us stuff,
I still buy
he
it like
actually
Duffy, like-
demodded and he
like
was
my
doing
house
a lot
is
of personal
built to
stuff.
the
I care
ground with
about other
lolcow
people's
TCG
feelings and
cards.
other people's
I still
lives,
buy
and
it,
not just
and
my
I care
own.
about my
Because
brand, I
really,
care
this is
about
what happened in the
Wait,
VC.
let me
All
say-
you do is talk about
200 touch my tipple shirts in the first hour that we were selling them. Don't forget, lolcow.co. You can go buy cafe merch if you want, but why would you? Beans doesn't even buy it. Ken doesn't buy it.
give
But
me
I
one
bought my own shirt. I bought my own shirt. Let's go. Over 200 sold in the first hour. This is a great shirt, by the way. You can let people know in public they're welcome to touch your tipples. And they do. They reach out and touch them, let me tell you.
I don't know if I'd be comfortable wearing that in public, given that
Oh, yeah,
information.
you know, I mean, for me, whatever. who cares?
You're like, my
Whatever you
tipples
want
are
to
free
do,
reign.
They were numb by the time I was 16, you know?
Whoa, are they still numb, Boogie?
Kinda, yeah. I haven't really
I hope
tested
you
it.
regain feeling in your tipples again soon.
I won't. But anyway, so 6 a.m. starting on May 1st. That should be a
Nice
good
and
time.
early.
Nice to see that you guys will be moving time slots. Sorry, Ken, that your audience didn't come out to support you and try to save you from having to be online every day at 6 a.m. Selling coffee today?
probably. Why don't you check since you're so into the numbers? Or do you have to wait for Daddy Keemstar to give you access?
You can text him. It's your show. He'll probably answer you. God knows you.
Oh, yeah,
Text him.
because he doesn't answer you.
God knows you. Drag him down enough.
Because Mike and him text all the
I was
time.
on the phone-
Apparently,
yeah, I
he
was
can
on
give
the
you
phone
5 minutes to talk about your own show. That's why you were so ass
Yeah,
mad
I was on
yesterday,
the
wasn't
phone- I was on the phone about.
Oh yeah, did you have your meeting with him like you wanted,
Gemini
Boogie? Your daily meeting?
Yeah, we're back to making sure the show is good.
Shut
We're
up,
back to
there's
making
no
sure he doesn't waste. Oh, okay. I don't know what
anyways,
the fuck this.
This
the
means
fuck
go
does this
fuck yourself. Thick Gemini with
Is this what you do when you get a
Go
dono?
away, Boogie Cafe is the best. We also have Poke Gaga. Oh, there's another one.
Federal Mayhem Super Chatted $22.70. Kick Boogie.
Oh, somebody said to kick you. Gladly. Thank you so much to tell us to kick Boogie. I forgot that was a thing. Poke
Yeah,
Gaga.
2 more times. I can go back 2 more
Two more
times.
chances.
Okay, keep them coming, guys. Keep them. And also the
Yeah,
insults.
enjoy,
Where the
enjoy.
insults go. There's some pretty good ones. By the way, you cut me off whenever I was
I don't
really
insult-
cooking.
I don't insult your character. I just want to insult your show. It's too easy to insult your character. I don't want to bother doing that. It's easier to insult. It's more fun to insult your show.
Okay, well, I said, nobody heard me, but I said Boogie's legs look like they've been inflated with sodium and failure, barely supporting a frame, running on Mountain Dew and self-pity for years.
That's true.
He fakes cancer like it's a seasonal content, clings to a girlfriend half his
You
age,
can only do
like
that once, whether
masks
it's
his
season or
collapse,
season.
and cries online like tears are monetized. Every apology is just a trailer for the next breakdown. And another
That is
thing
the
that I
longest donation I've ever heard in my life. Who donated this?
said- me, my brain. Another one was Boogie walks
Oh my
up his
God! You
legs
don't
are
tell me
trying
you
to quit
wrote
the
this
team.
and you thought this
No,
was good.
I said this. I said
You wrote
this.
this and you
I
thought
said
this
but
was
you were
good?
yelling so much that people couldn't hear it, so I'm going to repeat it again.
I
for
thought
the
it was a
people.
donation. Oh my
By the-
God!
no,
This
no.
is so bad. You wrote this and you thought it was good. You thought it was so good. You wrote it down. You're like, I
Also,
better.
Boogie walks like his legs are trying to quit the team, probably tired of carrying the full-time victim complex. He fakes cancer for clicks, milk pity like it's a Patreon perk.
Cancer like it's seasonal. You can only do that once. You fucking
Oh,
retard.
Charles
How can you have
Hill,
multiple
$20
seasons of faking
Boogie
cancer?
too.
You have multiple
Boogaloo.
seasons of
goodbye.
faking.
Now that he's kicked. So another thing.
Back. I get one more. I get one more.
He's the human recliner oversized.
Okay, so stop reading these because these are very bad. Remember yesterday I was trying to help you tell me to stop boxing yourself? Stop reading these. These are bad. Fat girl, back me up. Are any of these amusing?
I think what Boogie is saying is sort of true in a way. That yes, the audience weren't there. That Cafe is now have to submit to their new time position, right? Yet at the same time, in this moment, I think Beans should have just went full on against Boogie. She should have not held back. She should have just went into him very hard. If you are promoting a show the day before, that gives you ample time to sort of gear yourself towards this, right? You're given, you're basically, in a way, if you really wanted to be, you could have invited some of Boogie's trolls, right? Or even more, you should have gone in, like, maybe some Reddit groups or whatever, and look up, like, old Boogie allegation and just weaponize it against him. Yes, it is cruel. Or is it really? Because we're talking about a lolcow at the end of the day who's just a complete, dirtbag. But even so, you should not be afraid to do that, right? Even if they're true or not, even if he calls it out, you could always do the debate, bro, tactic. All right, where's the proof? Where's the proof? Come on, bro, where's the proof? And I understand that Bean isn't really like that. But I think in this opportunity, you should have done that, or even maybe better, lower the donation from like maybe 50 to 20, and then make it like every 10 or 20 donate, not every 10 20 donations, but every $10 or every $20 donation. Hey guys, if you give me $10, guess what? I'll bring up a random allegation that Boogie was accused of, and then we'll have him try to dispel it, right? And just kind of went into it. But Boogie came in and just dominated you guys, and it's just sad because I feel like if it would have been a different show, let's say Nerds, right, where they would have just fought back and just threw Boogie around, or Queens, or even Milkers, right, or even like Rewind, they would have just thrown Boogie around like he was nothing. But I felt like in this moment you guys dropped the ball extremely hard, and I'm pretty sure with this clip or another clip or some point in the video, they did mention that you guys had 2 free promos. No, I believe it was in the Nerds. So when we get to Nerds, we'll talk about it. But that's what I'm trying to get across. You had enough time to plan a moment of strike. The fact that in a way you should have known that Boogie was always gonna pop up, because if you're talking shit to him, he's gonna try to respond in favor, right, or in care or whatever, right? And you had the time to just dig up dirt on him if you really wanted to. Yeah, you maybe would have not felt good, but you're dealing with Boogie. He faked cancer. There's probably a lot of horrible things he done, and if certain rumors are true about him faking or lying about his childhood, use that against him. Drag him across the dirt and show him who is dominant, but you didn't do it. And you know what? When we get to the nerds part of this video, I do agree with Zay about this. You dropped the ball, and your last gambit was not a success. And sort of I guess you want to call it a disrespect towards Ken, and the supporters not coming out. Boogie is right about that.
This is different.
I just wanted to see how the new rebooted cafe is looking today.
I like your background.
Thanks. Yeah, hold on a sec. Just give me a little.
I hope you have some coffee.
No, this is I warmed up some Mountain Dew. I boiled it.
That's
really
disgusting.
Are you sure that's not boiled piss?
It kind of tastes like it after it's boiled. Don't boil this shit. It's bad. I did want to just come in and congratulate you. I was looking at the numbers. Keem texted me some numbers. 28 new members. Does that sound about right?
Something like that, yeah.
And almost $200. Is that correct?
Well, I don't like talking money because it's in the NDA.
Wow. So this is your victory lap.
319.
Wow. Oh, that's almost a real show. Congratulations. Riding off the back of my name. By the way, where the fuck is Ken? Does he just not show up on Fridays, or is he like
does not show up on Fridays? Yeah, he does not show up on
cool.
Fridays
So
because he's with his mom.
That's fair. Okay. I feel like he should be here on your last chance show, but okay. Last chance show going real well. Almost as many members as we got yesterday without trying, and also almost as much money as we got during the stream that Keem fucked it up and accidentally canceled it 20 minutes in. Yeah, let's go. Woo! I'm so proud of you guys for your abject fucking failure of a goddamn program. What the fuck is happening on your shit show of a fucking website? Hold on, let me change my background. I got it. Sorry, the Matrix isn't working for me. Let me get something a little more accurate, a little bit more accurate to what we're doing here.
Is it a picture of your ass?
You wish you could see an ass this good. You wish you could see this ass. Only Desi.
Come on, Boogie Grundle, full screen.
Only
4K,
Desi gets to see that. Oh my god! Here you go.
So you want to talk about failure? You guys had such a low goal for memberships.
Yeah, we did. You know what? And we shouldn't have even bothered. We shouldn't have even bothered. Nobody likes to interact with your show in any way. Those people were saving their money. Those people were saving their money for this show, right? All 12 of them. All 12 of them showed up to give you money.
I think, for a final gambit, a last stand, I think this particular, episode of Cafe really shows the weakness of Cafe, and particularly with Beans. And I'm not trying to come off as an asshole. I'm not trying to, oh my god, apologies. Not trying to rail on her or anything like that. Rather, I'm looking at this for what it is. A failed gambit that did not succeed in any way. I know that, and we all know there's no such thing as the NDA. They don't have an NDA. We all know that. But in that moment, it really just shows the weakness of Cafe and their final retaliation. Again, I feel like if Beans wasn't part of the network and part of a different group of people, I think she would have fit a lot better. And not even that, and that even if this is their last, whatever, I think Beans should have really just stuck it to Boogie. Really just went into him and just rail him. And I kind of in a way feel bad for a Batgirl, even though she's whatever. I think she was just more or less done, and I think for her, I feel like she just like was just there, like kind of like a decoration. I feel like when I was watching the stream, and I may have to rewatch it one more time, but I'm still gonna upload the video regardless. So apology. I felt like she was just nothing more than a decoration, a plant, more or less. They didn't really bring anything to this Friday show, and that's what I mean. If anything, I think Bean should have brought a different host altogether who would have brought the energy and would have helped her rail on Boogie, but didn't. Or brought in a bunch of other. Even if Boogie would have railed on you, as long as you had made money and got viewership, it would have not mattered. And at the end of the day, lolcowlive, just like a Chinese company, relies on numbers, whether it's a workforce or profit. And that's the truth.
I hope he has fun drinking his fucking battery acid piss dew that he fucking conjured up.
We also have somebody named Schizo Spud with the $5. Imagine fighting for your nation and suffer the cost of it and then be treated like complete dog shit from a boogie. Grow some ball, Ken. Ken is not here. Why are you talking about Ken? If you want to spew some garbage, spew it at me. I'm the one here. Or even Batgirl. She said she's okay with it.
Yeah, I'll take it. I don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
Give me all of it.
That's what you need to be in the LCU. In the LCU, the whole mission statement is monetize off of the hate. And if you can't take hate, you probably shouldn't be here, in my opinion.
You probably shouldn't just be on the internet in general if you can't handle some shit being thrown your way.
I completely forgot that the 3 rule thing was even a thing. I thought he was just going to keep coming back, and I was just going to keep playing the AI song that I played in the beginning. It would have been fire. And I didn't just make 1. I made 3.
No, yeah.
I made 3.
You had multiple.
Bangers.
I was playing them for my husband because, like, I like to get his input. Because even though he's not in the universe.
So that was me, and I think I wrote that in a moment because, well, I was kind of waking up, and I just got out of a stream, and I started watching this. And I felt like I had to say something. I felt like the way Boogie is treating these people, and I know that's the whole point of these shows, very much debate, bro. But I think also at the same time, it's like, when you get this much shit within a span of a small period of time after you had enough and you're just, have to deal with it. I think I wrote it as a way of like I wouldn't say calling him out completely, but more like, hey, dude, like, if you jump on now, even if it's just for a little bit, call out Boogie, call him out real fast, right? Just point out. And maybe, and I can see what Backer was saying, that if you can't handle the hate, and it's funny enough, even Beans mentions that, like, that the lolcowlive is very much driven by hate for the most part, and it's 100% true. But, truthfully, even with that, you gotta use the hate that you're already given and throw it back 10 times. You have to be willing to the point of total submission. And I feel like with Bean, I think she understands the concept. She understands that. But I feel like she couldn't throw it at somebody like Boogie. Where I feel like with Zay, it would evenly match. Because I feel like they sort of know each other. Or not know each other, but they have enough hatred where it's equally matched. Where I feel like with Boogie, she just let Boogie kind of just lapse around her constantly. And I feel like the only person that could have dealt with him is Ken. But I felt like, again, as I said earlier, that I think it was too late at this point. And that any attempt of a final gambit would have probably just failed. And though we are coming to this very end of this particular part of the video about Cafe, it does saddens me that it kind of ended in a whimper rather than a bang or a boom. Imagine being defeated by Boogie of all people, who is known as a notorious liar and a manipulator, and probably faked his childhood, or lied about his childhood, really.
that people should have. But
Yeah, you gotta have the Charlie Sheen mentality, the buy winning mentality.
exactly. So people are asking like, what's like the crazy thing that's happened? I'm not gonna cry on stream. I'm gonna keep doing the show as normal. There was something that happened last night on Tess. Like I said, a lot of things can be misinterpreted in the LCU, especially text. If you write something, people can read that in a certain tone or way and then interpret it that in their own way. So I had a little spout with Nightmare. I try to jump on stream and I'm like, hey, this is not what I meant. This is what I meant. And then we just clash. We clash all the time. So now the new thing is I'm not supposed to go anywhere near Test. Not Test VC, not the Test side server, not be the mod for Test, nothing. Because
Are you fucking with me?
I'm not fucking with you. I'm not fucking with you. I cannot support Grim in any way, shape, or form because Nightmare and I are like oil and water, and that's fine. That's fine because most of the time I'm asleep when they're streaming anyway. I'm asleep, so it's stuck on back. But you know, the thing that I really got affected with was the fact that it included Grim's and I's relationship.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna cry on stream. But Grim and I may not be together anymore because of what happened.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so that's fine.
Like, you guys have been together for so long. Like, why would this be like the end all?
I think a lot of things have been happening in the LCU in general that's been adding up. Channery with the 50 sec. Before you guys end the stream, please answer this. Snoo.
As I said, Cafe more or less ended with a whimper rather than a bang. And in a way, I feel, I wouldn't say sad, but something close to it. And if this is the end of Cafe, at least of this iteration, even if they have like a bunch of shows after, I don't think it would matter, because they kind of just proven in this moment, right, that they couldn't manage a show at the time they were given, and they are now set at 6 o'clock. Now things can change, but I don't think it is enough at this point. Given that later on in this video, you will look at what keemstar more or less would say. And because of that, and the way people are when it's coming to keemstar, and people more or less just straight up dick ride him all the time, it's just the inevitability. And I do feel bad for being, if her and Grim are no more, and if that is the case, then I truly do feel bad. But I think it also shows an example of the lolcowlive universe to never bring your relationship. If you are going into the show with your other couple, it is better if one or the other goes rather than both, because they would use you as nothing but content. Now I know most people haven't talked about it, and I'm probably the only one that is willing to talk about it because I already covered the Nightmare part, and I feel bad. But if anything, you know, I can say in this video, and I'll probably say it towards the end of the video, is that you can learn a lot by the sting of defeat rather than the allure and the drunkenness of victory. For Beans, I would just say that keep your head up. This isn't the end of your host or your job with lolcowlive as a whole. It's just a string of defeats. And if anything, learn from it. Or, you know, the other option is to walk away. And I don't think people will blame you for either or. They will shit talk you. But, you know, as Tyler the Creator once said, just shut up your computer and walk away. And truly, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, let's get into the nerd segment of this video, which I think is a lot more interesting. Not really interesting, but as a way for me to extend this video a lot longer than, or not longer, because I'm doing a re-recording, so technically this video is actually gonna be a little smaller, or not as long, but you know, still long, but not as long as it would originally be.
I was saying before we got rudely interrupted. I'm just kidding. You guys can interrupt us with donuts all day. I like Beans. I do. I know you don't like her. I genuinely like Beans. But bruh. What the fuck, girl? Like, goddamn, yesterday I was rooting for her and shit, and I was like, go, beat, go. Wait, talking over the boss. Just stop.
Stop. Wait, no, shut up. No, Beans, no. Ken, come save her. Oh.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. They're showing us a lot of love. I'm waiting for the TTS.
Phantom Mutation super chatted $20. Give the
Dialing
Diddy
it up
oil to
now.
Purple Flip for their love of buff.
He said give the Diddy oil to Purple Flirt for their love of buff. That's
No.
crazy.
That motherfucker better not be here. I'll time that bitch out. Fuck that. What? I need to cover up. That motherfucker's in chat. I need to cover myself up. This is not good. One. All right, but no, Vegan's like, come on, man. Come on, lady. All you had to do is point your shit out, make your case, and shut the fuck up. I'm not gonna crash out yet. Go ahead. Go take it over.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the craziest thing is you're like, oh yeah, you don't like beans. No, I didn't start off not liking beans. I actually was a fan of beans in the beginning, and then it's just like over time I was like, whatever. But then I was on her side for a second yesterday. I was like, I actually agree with beans. Like when she was in the VC battling with Boogie, I felt like she had some valid points, and like she did bring up a good point when she said Boogie was just kind of screaming over her, and I think he tends to do that when he feels like he's losing an argument. But that's fine. But then, like you said, she went on live.
Gafgarian super chatted $20. Oh snap. We doing 20 parties now too. _buff mode _nerdy b _z. Hashtag me for mod.
I'm gonna be working out this whole stream, man.
Yeah, have a good time doing that one.
I have to go to work after this. Oh yeah, by the way, real quick, audience, before we continue, like, talking about the Bean stuff, and Beans, I do see you in the thing. I know you say you talked over Boogie, not your boss. You didn't know that Keem was talking at the same time. I was at work watching it. So, look, I know what you wanted to do, but with the reality of what you did, it's two completely different things. You went in here with the right mind to prove your point, and I believe...
Mazer 1123 super chatted $50. Up the SCO, Fiddy party. PLS no Diddy oil.
He said no Diddy oil. He wants no Diddy oil.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you, Mazer. I was about to say, why don't you stop me when I say these things?
Oh my god.
Epic Brady super chatted $20.
Brady,
20 party gaff ain't alone anymore LFG.
Brady, you just dropped a crown! Chill out!
Brady, no more for you today. You stop.
No! He's gonna be streaming from his phone. He's gonna have to sell everything he owns. He's gonna be out there putting his asshole out there. Only if the nerds can get $20 more. I appreciate it! You've done enough!
We love you, Brady. Let me know what you want your crown painting to be, by the way. I didn't forget about that.
You already know he's gonna make us watch all of the WWE, all of it. I'm gonna know all types of shit. My TISM level is gonna rise by 15 points. My intelligence is gonna be deducted by 5, and my fucking charisma is gonna go down by 2. Oh yeah, did you like that, Gaffigan? I didn't forget about you, King of D&D. But look, it's not good. Fuck.
He said he's thinking air. Oh my.
Phantom Mutation super chatted $50. Friday Fiddy party. You sobs, let's go.
What?
Gafgarian super chatted $50. Happy Friday nerds. Get that merch. Hashtag we bar me. Hashtag hot dog gang.
Guys, I can't even get into the fucking...
I get mad when my girlfriend spends $20 on DoorDash. I am mad at all of you right now. Thank you so fucking much. And look, Beans, that's another fucking thing, by the way. Beans, really quick, I'm gonna try to get my criticism out right now. You said that Gaff is the only person that makes us get towards our goals. Don't get me wrong, Gaff was throwing his motherfucking bag at nerds before I got here. But as soon as I got here, we got new people. You see this name right here? You read that shit, Beans. That says Troy Speaks Chapel fucking Knees, and he's a general. You want to know why? It's not because I like him. It's not because...
I feel with nerds, this particular stream was the complete opposite of Cafe, where Cafe was a long, drawn-out show with, issues, right? That particular stream had a number of issues, and that really went against it. In this moment, this stream of nerds was... everything was going for it. And it could be a number of things, but I think it mainly had to do with just the host. Well, I do find Kenan being very enjoyable to watch, and very much something I always like to see and hear. There's a much more clearer and more, as I would say, upbeat dynamic with the nerd host right now. Even though they had their issues in the beginning, the fact that they will willingly overcame those issues to create a show, and they clearly make that statement a number of times and even point it out. Now, it was sort of hard to get certain clips throughout this particular stream because of donations and crown, but I think that really makes the point, right? That where Cafe just struggles to get viewership and hosts, crown and all that stuff, which is very important. Let's be honest. The reason why Ozzy is successful is even though it has relatively low numbers, it has high donation and high memberships. And again, that's mostly due to Rastov. With nerds in the direction they are going, they clearly shows it even more. And if that's not a sign of learning from your peers, I don't know what I can tell you, right? Maybe it being within a different show with a different host that can provide that energy or provide that chemistry that you may see a sense of success. But there's no guarantee. Worst case scenario, she can be Glammy, and like look what happened to Glammy. Yes, he is now the host of gaming, but she was able to make that her own thing, and I think it benefited her a lot. And she learned from each of her mistake, where I feel like Beans hasn't gone through it. And plus, like later on, I don't think I have the clip of it or not. If I do, I do. But I'm gonna say it real fast. You know, most of the hosts, or not all of them, but some of them did have to go to different shows to get where they are at now.
We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it.
57 plus 6. I am too brained out to think now.
This
I don't
is
have my
just-
pocket Asian with me. I can't do math.
Okay.
You have to help me.
So we showed that first Gaff clip. This is the
Look
second
at the-
one. It wasn't just one time she fucking talked about Gaff, which I feel like was also just in shitting on our other donators by also shitting on Gaff, who's not only one of the biggest supporters of nerds.
Thank you, Lady Nerd Artist.
Doesn't make him the top donator. I don't know if he is or isn't, but at the end of the day, he loves this fucking show so hard that he works on it. Like,
He doesn't just work on it. He's behind the scenes,
That's what I
helping us do our thumbnails, helping us get together my ADHD ideas and make them into perfect things. Like, legit, Gaff got on me yesterday. I was like, bro, that segment was going to be fucking amazing. You need to fucking come to me so I can make sure that we got graphics so it looks good. This dude got on me because he wants the show to do. He loves the show. He doesn't like Zay. He doesn't just like me. He likes this show. And my whole thing is, I assume to have us just like Madhouse, not like the crazy gross shit, but I do love that. I do shout out to David Jaffe, and Neck Protect, and my sweet racist bunny. I'm just kidding, she's not racist, I love her. But no, I want us to be a polished show, and we're on the way to that. And now I'm going to shut the fuck up and play the clip.
beautiful.
Look at the top donator for nerds since you want data. It's Gaff. The same person will donate hundreds. And this was not like a dig to nerds, okay? Like if you have somebody that loves your content so much that they'll throw like a lot of money into it, that's fucking awesome because you have a dedicated person. That is loyalty right there. And I don't want Gaff to think that I'm trying to dig at him either because you should be happy that you're supporting nerds. You're number one. Number one. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if it was Gaff or Mono, but they're trying to make them like mods in the chat.
All right. So I got so much to say. So this is where we start with the flip-flopping bullshit. We saw that first clip where she's literally like being like, he's a fucking millionaire. Oh, not every show can have a fucking millionaire. And now she's in this being like, no, guys, that wasn't what I was saying. She does this. I have so many fucking clips of her saying something so aggressively, being like, this way, this way, this way. And then, no, you guys were misinterpreting me. You guys are wrong. When Keem said she's a master manipulator, bro, that's all I gotta say. Master manipulator. You're muted.
I forgot I muted myself. I talk too much. But no, I don't think she's a master manipulator. I just think that she comes in with the right heart, but then her anger gets the best of her, and she just goes, I can't talk. Shut up, bitch. Boogie, you're fat. Keem alive. But she really just wanted to be like, look, I think it's unfair. We're putting our best into it, and I really feel like this time slot change would hurt us. But if this is what we have to do, I'm like basically what Ken said. Like, look, I'm willing to do whatever you want, but I feel like we're gonna have the same conversation next month, which I agree with. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that it's your fault. It just means that, just like Zay over here, sometimes you just need a change. And sometimes you bring yourself together with another person. I know you and Ken are so connected, but you guys literally work so well together that if you guys had somebody to play off you the way that they're supposed to and can accommodate your style, which you guys already do, you'll be even better. Beans, if you can work with Ken, and Ken, if you can work with Beans, you guys can make a show.
That's the problem. This is what we're not admitting. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say it right here, right now. Keem was right. Splitting them up is what needs to happen. They clearly aren't working together. The same way me and Eric were fighting so hard to work together. I love Eric as a friend, and I feel like, our friendship is still going to be the same. But at the same time, we weren't working as co-hosts. And we can clearly see that by the numbers changing now. You know what I'm saying? And for us to admit that, and I know he's going to end up on another show. I know he's going to do great things. He's going to get his Lego video done for us. All that shit. But sometimes you got to let go. Like, they have too close of a friendship where they're not willing to let go of that. And it's just not working. Like, when he said he wanted to move her to another show on the 19th, and I've heard from different places, I saw on Rewind, that they said it was going to be with Brantley. Why would you not take the show with Brantley? That is a good opportunity for not you, but you failed not only yourself, Beans, but you failed Ken by doing that. Because you gave Ken you limited Ken by not letting him to have the potential to find a co-host who actually meshes with him well.
You guys, I'm not saying they don't mesh together now, but you guys didn't, and we didn't either, but there was some type of dynamic there is with you guys. And especially with moving this time slot, oh my God, Phantom Mutation, Millionaire doesn't matter, and I'm a single dad.
And, what Zay said was right. Why wouldn't you take an opportunity to work with Brantley? Zay would take the opportunity to work with Brantley. Glammy took the opportunity to work with Glammy. And I think that's very important. Yet I also understand where their criticism are coming from with Beans, right? If Beans was to work with Brantley, there's a guaranteed chance of both donation and viewership. Now it's funny now I'm talking about donation as Beans criticized them, or what I say criticize? Well, criticize them, but in a weird way mocked them that their quote unquote big donator was Gaff. And yet it felt like in a way he was kind of jealous or salty that somebody, and not even him particularly, but a bunch of other guys who have money, right, was willing to give it to Nerd. And in a way you can feel that he felt that maybe he was slighted that he wasn't getting a piece of the pie. I think the reason was because you were not providing a service that people want to donate money to and continue. And I think as Ken once said early on that, not early on, but a couple of days ago, and Ken made the point that it's true to be said, but the cafe supporters after a day or two would just go away, and that's 100% true. And the reason I bring that up is mostly because of it's just the truth. I know it wasn't part of this clip, but I think if they would have brought that up, I think it would have made their point a lot more hit harder, right? Because with the donation element, again, you can't get mad at them for providing a service that people want to listen to, right? You can't blame them. The fact that Zay is willing to paint something for a crown or for a higher donator or people like that just kind of shows how dedicated she is to her audience. Very much like Rastov. And I feel like if Bean wants to become a better host down the line or even just whatever, I think she can learn something from Zay and the way she approaches her method of towards her audience and her donators. Because as long as you get donation and a stable amount of views, you're in the clear for the most part. And, Zay has also every right to gloat about that. It's truth, it's truth.
In the way that we're supposed to work. Do you think I want you guys to leave? I like y'all sucking. You know why? It makes it easier on us. Because guess what? Then that means we're not the bottom show. Like, do you think I want you guys to go away strategically as a businessman? If you guys keep staying there and being a loss leader like Costco and hot dogs, it makes it safer for the nerds to keep cooking. So
Can I just say, last night I jumped into Nerds VC and I told Zay Zudit, capitalize on this. And you did. Very proud.
Thank you, Keem.
I also told Cafe, capitalize on this. Not so much. It just, I'm sorry, but it's just, dude, when you get promoted, right, on lolcowlive because of certain drama that's going on, then you get promoted on Rewind for something, this thing that's going on, and then the show today does what the show did today. It's just like, maybe we just gotta accept it. You don't got it.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't get a promotion from the #1 and #2 show leading all into your next show where everybody in the community is like, oh, I wonder what Beans is going to say. And then it still felt like, bro,
Boogie
all you
even
guys
went on
just
to help them. Boogie went
Purple
on to help
Flurp
them.
super chatted $20. We looking like a
Stalker's
sack right
messaging me,
now.
boss.
Can't wait to run
What a
away to
pain.
South Korea with you and go to all the K-pop concerts together and grow old on the beaches watching our grandbabies grow up.
Donating that with the boss here, Purple Flurp, was crazy. Crazy.
I know. And I sent in, I don't know what they said because I can't hear, but I sent Boogie in there. I'm the one that texted Boogie and said, hey, bro, go in there. They're talking shit, spice things up. And then they kicked him, and then the views tanked. Like,
wait, no, they kicked him?
Yeah.
You didn't learn from fucking Rastov? Like, what
You
the
didn't learn
fuck,
from
man?
me. How many times has she called me the content cook for kicking people? That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, you did do that, but you're learning. Like, they're not learning. Look, I think, the experiment is pretty much done, Beans. It has nothing to do with the time slot being changed, all right? It has nothing to do with people's necks hurting from the whiplash of what time Cafe is on. Like, I think the experiment is done. We can still argue this more if you want, but I think it might be a good time to just be like, you know what, Keemstar's right. My show is not doing good because I don't have a good show. It has nothing to do with the time change. I think if maybe you said that, then we can move forward. But we can keep trying it. We can keep seeing if maybe Keemstar is to blame. I'm down for this experiment to go more and more. All I know is last night, I told 2 individuals, all right, that don't like each other to capitalize on this moment. I said, Beans, capitalize on this, turn it into a show, turn it into money, turn it into content. Zay Zudit, same thing, capitalize on this, and only one of them did it. And the person that capitalized on it has purple hair.
I love how he just leaves all mysterious like that.
That was not mysterious. I think we know what's
But
coming.
dude like leaves in the night like Batman. Like I love it. Like he'll just pop up. I wanted to tell him, boss, like legit, like when I hear that da, I almost shit myself. I'm like, oh shit, he's here. Oh, you such a fucking.
Actually, I used to get nervous. I don't get nervous from it anymore.
Bruh, I still get heart palpitations when I talk to boss. I'm like, I just can give me some money, please. Just send me some money. I'm scared. Like, goddamn, like my lights almost got turned off yesterday. I was this close to messaging somebody. Like, God, I need.
Epic Brady super chatted $19.
So, with Keem kind of just popping in onto Nerd and basically giving a plot toward Zay for capitalizing a moment, capitalizing a victory, an easy victory for the most part. And I think that's to tell you something about the situation. Now, let me say something. I re-recorded it, and then I stopped for a little bit, fell asleep, watched a little bit of Test. And there was some stuff that was going on Test that got my interest, especially when One Buff Week came on. Now, I'm not sure what was being applied, but I think when Keem popped in, I think it was just kind of pre-planned. I think one of the things I can say and coming off of this, even though this is one of those big long episodes where I'm going over every individual show, because it's just easier on me, and again, I just want to do the Big Bean show because it would have been really cool. I just want to use that title. And before I move forward, what I'm going to say, yeah, they did deserve the W because he capitalized in something. And when we look at Beans didn't really capitalize it as much as she should have, especially after getting promoted twice. One on Rewind and one on Live. And given how that show particularly ended, again, it ended in a whimper, not a success. But Keem kind of coming in at the time he did and everything, just kind of how Zay reacted, kind of felt like a little pre-planned. Now, as I said, I feel like the only way I know this is the fact that I did watch a little bit of Test as I'm recording it. I'm recording it at 3:30 in the morning. Yeah, I woke up. I fell asleep for a little bit of time, watched some tests in the background, woke up to some interesting information, and I decided to go back and finish my recording so I could render it and then upload it. And then obviously this should be up around like 7 o'clock, either between 7 or 9. But again, capitalizing on a W, even if it's an easy W, is important when you're dealing with this stuff, especially on the internet, right? If you can catch an easy dub, no matter how easy it is, or even you can even say, using, I guess, old skeptic term, low hanging, it's still a dub in most people's eyes, and it's one that they will parade. But as I said before, I felt like there was something more going on, and I think I'm not the only one that later, now that I know certain stuff now, I feel like my original assessment wasn't good enough. And I think it's shifted a little bit.
We're gonna review it really quickly, and then we're gonna talk about it.
Ooh, please do.
Don't say ooh like that.
No, it's just interesting,
The reason why I said something.
Whoever the
No,
guest
the
is
only
has got it. I think I've got it untwisted, sir.
You gotta watch the stream.
Yes.
All right, perfect. I just want to make sure Buff got it. All right, I'm playing it.
Only reason why I said something. Now, the only reason why I got a little testy, lolcowtest, check it out at night. The only reason why I got a little testy was whenever he threatened Ken. Now, there's something between me and Ken where, like, only reason why I said.
What? I don't know, bro. You're getting testy over a guy that's not your man is a little wild. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wait, what?
She said that she was getting a little testy because of how Ken got disrespected or whatever.
Well, that's your co-host. When people call you all types of W's,
Nah,
I tell
not
them
the
I'm a bigger
same.
W.
I'm never gonna say I'm getting testy over another man. All I'm gonna say is the way that she talks about her man is not a way I would ever talk about my man. I wouldn't disagree with what Nick is saying. She has literally said that her man couldn't protect her. She thought she was outside at a fucking, I don't know, what was it called? One of those like
I don't believe that. I
gas
believe
station type of thing. And her man couldn't protect her. Hiking.
You want to hear this?
John,
You want to hear this crazy threat that I gave to Ken?
Yes.
I said, look, man, a lot of people would like to be a host. A lot of people would like to try out. Something along those lines. Why doesn't she say what I said? Why is it? Because he threatened Ken. You know, why just remove the context? That makes no sense.
Wait, that's
Like,
what she's talking about in that clip?
I think so. I think so. That's the only threat like I can think of.
And that's
How's
what
that a
has her
threat?
being testy over it. She ain't that fucking testy when Grim got threatened to be fired is all I gotta say.
Wait. Go ahead.
She refers to me telling Ken and Beans, both of them, because they're both in the group chat, hey, a lot of people would like to be a host, right? She refers to it as a threat instead of just saying what I said, right? She also, last night on Rewind, tried to tell people on the 19th, he threatened to pull me off or something along those lines without the context of, yeah, pull you off and put you on another show. She just left the context out. So it's like, I'm so confused. Like, what is going on? Like it's just a nonstop victim campaign over here. I don't get it.
No, I get it. You know what kills me about it, boss? It's like, you've said this like so many times, and I don't get it, and I'm new. It's like, when you lose a show here, it's not like the end all be all, like, get the fuck out the LCU. It's like, stick around. If I have a place to put you, I'm gonna put you there. Am I wrong?
Exactly. What Glammy's over there playing Oblivion right now, probably. You know, it's
Yes.
like, unless if you do something bad and you get like banished from the community, sure. But like, dude, if a show doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out. Like, you know, why were you in this community in the first place? Because you were a fan. Stick around, hang out, whatever. Another opportunity comes up, we'll try it. You know, it's like it just is what it is. I don't understand. Someone in the chat's asking to play the full clip. Is there a longer clip to that? Because I'm really curious on what she meant by threatening Ken.
Cafe suck. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm sure one of the docking team will pull it up for me. But I can grab the stream where it's from too and see who gets it faster.
All right. All right. See you guys.
Hi, boss. He's gonna make me have a heart attack on stream one day.
Why?
I feel like I just had a second puberty.
Did you ever had your heart skip a beat?
It just did, honestly.
No, obviously Keemstar can say why remove the contact, but then again, we're talking about a guy who's notorious with that, or at least framing certain things in a way that is beneficial towards his end. So if you're going off of the whole context from a guy who's known for lying and manipulating situation back and forth, go for it. That the hell you want to die on? I respect that. Now, to answer the thing why somebody gets testy, I think it's because, yeah, it's a different guy, but I think for certain women, when they're capable of building a bond with a guy that is not sexual and more brotherly, they have a different mentality, right? From my own experience, I have developed friendships that are, with female that are more friendly than romantic. And I've learned that people can be very aggressive about it. Because unlike, let's say, sibling, through birth, right? Through natural, right? It's different when you start to build a brotherly or sisterly bond through somebody you met that isn't really related to you at all. And I think it makes it even more powerful when you're willing to stand by them towards the end. Even if you're given a better opportunity, that you are more likely to gain fame and fortune. I respect individuals who are willing to give it all, willing to give all the love for the brothers they have, right? The brothers of arm, very military. And I think in a way this is something I can give major props to Ken. Because you gotta remember, Ken comes from a military background. He states this a number of times. And I think in a way that military sense heavily influenced Bean, and I give him a lot of props and credit for him to willingly stay by somebody's side. It is very military, and I respect that. In a way, I think most hosts can learn something about that. To stand by your brothers in arms, though they are not related to you, you're still willing to defend them regardless of the odds, even against your own kin. And I would say that's something very powerful that I think most of the LCU doesn't have. I don't think Keem is willing to, live and die by Boogie or Wingside. We've seen that a number of times, and I don't think, and maybe Wings is the only one of the original LCU. But obviously, when you look at Queen isn't willing to go down that path. Rewind, I kind of do believe that. Right, especially with Xylee and Bailey, which is a good example of, though they're not siblings by blood, they're siblings through whatever conflict they were been thrown into. Now I know I'm getting a little too philosophic for this, let's be honest. Sometimes I do get a little too philosophic for these type of videos, right? It would be easier for me to just say, yeah, Bean's a fucking idiot. She shouldn't be, she should take all the opportunities she wants. At the same time, I feel like that's a little too easy. I'm not trying, and maybe I'm coping, and maybe I should just start coping just a little bit. Just a little bit of coping. That, maybe we shouldn't just go full parade mode. I don't know. Maybe because I want to look at this stuff as maybe not as deep, but just give them the benefit of the doubt, or give them props and credit, or try to explain certain things that I can understand why somebody could do that, right? Yeah, again, it would be easy for Beans to go with Brandley and be successful, but to willingly fall with somebody that, the fact that you're willing to go down with somebody else through and through is respectable, and I think it's something people can learn from. They're not siblings by blood, but they're siblings through conflict, and I think that is base in Keno.
That's not funny.
Sweet
There's no
home
transcript
Alabama.
on this one. Otherwise, I would have done it that way. There's just no
Get that
transcript.
clip up like a trailer.
I got it.
Thank you.
The reason why I got a little testy, lolcowtest, check it out at night. The only reason why I got a little testy was whenever he threatened Ken. Now, there's something between me and Ken where, like, he is like the big brother, right? He's big brother, I'm little sister, but at the same time, like, we just have a connection that I don't think we could have with any host. Whenever he, said that thing of, let me know if you can do it or not, because if you can't, I can just replace you, basically. Let me...
Okay.
What is the
You're
threat
saying that
about
about Ken?
He said
Saying,
replace you.
well,
Like,
he's saying that in general, which is a true statement. Anybody can replace us.
Dude, oh my god. Alright, another fucking thing that really fucking frustrates me about Beans. This is your first fucking show, Beans.
back.
Hi, Keem.
So there you go. There's the threat. There's the big threat. Hey, a lot of people want to be a host. Like, if this is not going to work, it's not going to work. That's a big bad threat, guys.
Yeah, damn it, boss. Why are you threatening people by telling them they'll put you on a different show with your basically wife and have you make all this money and give you opportunities and all this shit? How dare you, Keemstar?
Yeah, guys, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a big bully, and Beans is being treated insanely unfairly, and I'm threatening Beans and Cafe because I hate them. I don't know. I mean, that's the messaging she's trying to put out. Like, I'm sitting here moving their time slots around and stuff just to fuck with them to make sure they fail, and I'm the reason why it's all failing. I mean, it's going to be insane. The next thing we're going to hear is he purposely picked butterscotch for the flavor because he knew people wouldn't buy it.
No, literally.
Did you?
No, they picked the flavor.
Wait a minute, boss. So you're telling me you don't hate Cafe and you're not sad, but you're like, well, then why are they saying all this, boss? I'm confused.
I'm glad it's gone.
It makes no sense.
Refusal to take accountability is your answer.
Oh,
Okay,
yes, that's what it sounds like.
I can do two things at this point. I can move Cafe to 6 a.m. where there's way less competition and whatever, right? So it doesn't matter. It's not required to then like insanely perform because it is at 6 a.m. Or I can leave Cafe right where it is right now and just replace the host. So apparently, since it's all my fault and it's all me and I'm the reason why Cafe is not doing good, I think I got to just replace the host. I mean, I don't know what I should do, because if time slots are an issue, they've already said 6 a.m. their show's going to do worse. So they're literally telling me that, like, hey, your decision, Keemstar, get rid of us and get new hosts for Cafe. That's what they're saying every time they talk about this situation.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't
They should
think
just
they're
take
giving
the
you
time
another
slot
option.
change.
I think
No.
even if you move the time slot, it's still going to be them being ungrateful a week later and complaining and saying, well, it's all Keemstar's fault because he moved us to 6 a.m. and it's once again going to be the time slot thing. I think they leave you no choice.
I think they need to move to 6 and then make it work. Because if the dynamic they're talking about, they're building and they can do, no matter if Ken's a little sleepy,
No.
you can do that.
Their
You can
dynamic
bring
is
in-
falling apart. Give it to Tech Protect and Sweet Tea. That was a good idea.
I think they can do it. I just think that they're complaining too much. I think that if somebody's giving you an opportunity to prove it, Keem just said there's less opportunity. It's a 6 a.m. show. Build a good morning. You already have a good morning show. Build it even better. Build it back better.
It's not a good morning show.
Well, Rasthoff is a great morning show. I mean, I wake up, I'm drinking my coffee, I'm listening to Rasthoff and stuff, and then Cafe comes on, and it's like, they're not doing or talking about anything interesting. So,
yeah,
I don't know. It just is what it is. I guess it needs a new host. I guess we need a new host. So,
If that's, we can't stop you, but I feel like they're putting you in a position where you only can make certain amounts of choices. So,
Well, you throw someone a lifeline and they're like, "Fuck you," then it's like, maybe I should take the lifeline back.
Yeah, maybe just swim, bitch. You know. Oh shit.
Bye, Retro. Alrighty, well, this has been a freaking fun episode, at least, you know? Chaos in the LC. I've been saying that for the past 3 days. I'll just chaos in the LC.
Up 4D3 super chatted $20. It's definitely because of the time slot whiplash. It's got nothing to do with the bird segment and the horoscope segment, Lamau.
No, I want to say shit like that is why I stopped watching Cafe. I'm gonna be honest. Who gives a fuck about horoscopes? Who?
I never said horoscopes are different, but I actually do like the birds. Watching them birdies grew up was cute. I love that. I like nature. Like, come on, like if they did more nature stuff, and they should have like, you know what would have been good, but nobody really likes politics. You could have had like Beans be like the liberal and have Ken be like the conservative.
I do understand what Zay is saying. I really don't care much for the horoscope or the burst up. I'm very real. Like, I may catch it for the first couple seconds, and then I usually just click off because I kind of find it just, not my cup of tea. I feel like this is something that's more you find on TikTok, but I think if it's coming from TikTok, it would have more energy to it, right? And I also do like how Keem is going off a bit of a gaslighting, as always, right? As anything I've learned, if Keem is gaslighting you, there's nothing wrong gaslighting him. Who cares? It is what it is. Though I guess some people would say that that's not right. At the end of the day, it's the internet. It's lolcowlive. You're dealing with nothing but lolcows in the end. Whether they're manufactured or natural lolcows, gaslighting is sort of a tool they use. Whether it's successful or not, let it be. If you gotta be Machiavellian, nothing wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong. I do think, though, threatening somebody with replacement is never a good thing. And depending on the person, they either take that as a way to improve, or they straight up tell you to go screw yourself. I can't tell you how many times I've legit have seen that, and most people morale just completely crumble. But this is the internet, so you're not dealing with that more often than you think. Sure, you can easily tell them they're replaceable and expandable. Go ahead, do that. But, I guess in a way, as Ruby would say, Grace would say, Lynx would say, that it is sort of a cult that you're willing to continue regardless of the punishment. And, if Beans wants to do that, go ahead. And that's really how I kind of interpret this stuff, right? I think that in a way, and I'm going to be honest, and I don't think Bane's ever going to watch this video. I do know Ken did watch one of my videos. I do know that for a fact. And if Beans is listening to this, and if Ken is listening to that, if you made it this far, or you kind of just skipped, through the clips and just wanted to hear my response or my quote-unquote commentary, I think I'm just going to cut right towards the ending part as it is. And before I move forward, I like to say that Beans and Grim are still together. Cool. But I do recommend that, Grim, I know you love your girl. It is what it is. But don't be afraid to have some ball against Nightmare. If Nightmare is going on about and acting like a child, you know what? What's more important to you? A guy you only met for a guy you met for a couple of weeks and you met one time, or the girl who's been by your side through all your tough and all your good times for 7 years, right? I think that's how long they've been dating. Personally, I would rather stick with the woman who's been through hell and back with me than a guy who I just met through a Discord chat. I'm just being real with you. I would have just straight up cursed out Nightmare, or maybe said a couple things, and I probably would have quit. And if he would have asked me to come back, or I don't know if he's a beggar, I would have been like, I have clear boundaries. You went overboard. If you have a problem, you know what? We'll talk about it. But if you pull this shit again, I'm completely walking out. You can have somebody else run this for you. But back to my I guess what I would tell Bean and Ken. Don't be afraid to call out shit. Don't be afraid to retaliate. I understand that there's a community a community element to that you very much share it, and I don't blame you. And as I said about Dick Gemini wanting to be friends or looking for friends, there's nothing wrong with that. And the idea of that is beautiful. I would say that you want to have friends, you want to be part of something much larger, you in a community. At the same time, you need to be willing to draw the line and say no and retaliate and fight back. And if they don't like it, well, tell them you strike first. There's nothing wrong striking back hard, fast, and precise. That's really what it is. If they want to go on about this, let them be. Hit them hard. You know, Ken and Beans, when Boogie attacked you, I felt like in the moment, if you knew a little about his history, which I think you should always look into their past and who they are and use that against them. And if Keemstar has a problem with that, just tell him, hey, you created me. You created the monster, just like Becky. And if you have a problem with that, well, why not just shut down the network? Shut us down. Or unless you like what I'm saying to you because you like the retaliation and you just don't want to admit it. In the case of Boogie, just call him out about his, quote unquote, lying about his childhood. There's nothing wrong with that. Go for it. Strike at him. They're lolcows. Lolcows should be treated as just cattle, right? They're nothing but the user content. And I sound very brutal when I say that. And maybe because I'm a detractor and I'm willing to admit that. Go for it. There's nothing wrong. Treat them like cattle. Treat Boogie nothing like cattle to profit your pocket. Treat Keem as nothing but something you should use and throw away. Nothing like dirt. And if he has a problem like that, just say it back to him. Hey, we're expandable. We're replaceable. We're cheap Chinese labor. Hey, who is say, you can just straight up say after that. Who isn't to say you're not the same Keem? Who's not to say you can't be replaced? Give him a little bit of his medicine. If you get fired, hey, go for it. What do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose. But if you're willing to gain it all, throw everything in and don't look back. I've already committed myself to this type of video. I already committed myself to being a detractor, right? So it's either continue forward and never look back, or completely close shop and never look back. And as somebody who's stubborn and has sub-level IQ, I prefer to continue. Or you don't listen to me. You don't have to listen to me. No, you can completely block me and not even think about me, and that's perfectly fine. But if you guys didn't make it far into the video, and if you kind of take my criticism for what they are, just criticism and opinions, there you go. I know I am ending this video in more of a somber, even saying a melancholic tone. With that being said, everybody, I hope you enjoyed a much longer video. I know I usually do 20 to 30 minutes videos most of the time. Well, till next time, be safe, be happy, have a good day, have a good morning, have a good night. Till next time, God bless.